Hmm. Um, I don't think we've ever underestimated the fact that players need to go, but I think more than ever, it is vital now we think about this because I do sympathise with Thomas Tuchel in this factor that having players that don't want to be around is not good for the environment.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of the day is about player exodus. It's very important. I mean, look, the match is done. We got battered by Arsenal. We know what the situation is with Chelsea Football Club right now in terms of our preparation for pre-season. We can sit here and harp about the problems over and over again, but it's only going to make all of us depressed. I'm definitely at a state where I need to just calm down and not worry about all of that. Some of you guys have commented that as well. It seems like I look like I'm stressed out. Look, it's only because I love the football club, just like you guys, and it's tough to see the football club in this situation. So we're not going to spend time talking about the problems. We know the problems. I think it's time we start talking about solutions now. What can we actually do moving forward? I think first and foremost, yes, all of the transfer saga issues, dramas that's happening with Kounde, let's park it for a second. We'll come to that. It's very important now we start looking at shipping some of these players that we have right now. We need to let go of them. Thomas Tuchel, as much as we get frustrated at times as, what are we seeing from the attack? Now the defense is leaking goals. We know he'll get things right defensively. Attacking wise, I want to give him the pass till he gets all his players. Now, what he said in post match was very, very important. He said we still have quite a lot of players that possibly don't want to be here, are thinking about the future. Now, let's start from this particular point. Let's go with Timo Werner. This is a player that we barely have used last season, and this is a player that I think probably doesn't want to stick around at Chelsea Football Club. And I also think Thomas Tuchel's probably not a fan of this particular player. Now, he's probably thinking about his future in terms of, a spot in the World Cup. No problems. I suggest he starts getting active and starts contacting his agent and start getting some deals or some offers through from Bundesliga if that's the case. Because right now, I can't see any of this being happening for Timo Werner. So, look, Timo Werner, if we are finding it difficult to let him go because of his wages, then we need to come to the party as well. It's not working out for both parties. It's not working out for him. It's not working out for us. Let's see if we can send him away on a loan, and let's see if we can pay some of his fees as well. If it's becoming very difficult, because his wages of 272K apparently is putting off other teams. So let's try and compromise here. We have to take a L. We have to take a L in this situation, but let's take a L in order to rectify the scenario as well. Let's not keep Timo Werner within the team when he's unhappy and he's not going to have the output that we desire. Let's talk to his agent. Let's get his agents to talk to teams at in Bundesliga. I'm pretty sure Leipzig, Dortmund, Leverkusen, you name it. There should be many clubs out there who should be looking at his signature. Even Bayern Munich, Nagelsmann has had a relationship with Timo Werner back in Leipzig. So and Bayern Munich need a striker. So let's see what we can do there. And I know Mane is possibly going to play as a striker now, but you can still use Timo Werner effectively. So let's see what we can do there. Pay his part of his loan if that's if we're looking at a loan deal and we can't offload him permanently. Let's look at that. Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech has already done a lot of the groundwork with AC Milan. Let's see if we can ship him off there. Let's not hold this player anymore, man. he's probably not happy anymore to be at Chelsea Football Club. He's also no good for us in regards to what Thomas Tuchel wants to do, the way he wants to play. He doesn't have the 1v1 skill set. It's not like he's robust with his pace either. Everything that Thomas Tuchel desires his wingers to be, he probably doesn't have that. In terms of how Thomas Tuchel plays, many can say, well, he worked out in Ajax. Ajax players had movement, had a lot of players in and around him. That's not how Thomas Tuchel plays. So we've got to understand how Thomas Tuchel plays. Whether we like it or not, that's a different story. But at the moment, we got to understand how he plays, and Ziyech simply doesn't fit in. And as I said, Ziyech has already done a lot of the groundwork. So let's figure out a way to move him on. Whether it's a loan again with AC Milan, so be it. If we have to pay some parts of his wages, so be it. If we can offload him permanently, let's do it. Now, you may be thinking, Miz, if we let go of Werner, we let go of Ziyech. Werner is someone we barely even used. So in terms of replacement, Broha needs to come into the team. And if you need to go and purchase someone, which I completely think you do, you need to open up some space as well. I'm going to come to players that I possibly think we can target, right? Some Premier League players that I'm thinking of. I can't think of any other ones. But Werner is someone we barely used last season, so I don't know what replacement you're looking at. Ziyech as well is someone who's not fancied. You still got Hudson-Odoi and Christian Pulisic who can fight for those areas. Broha to come in, and obviously you've got Havertz, Sterling as well. So do I like all of those options? No, I don't. Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, I'm not convinced, but it is what it is. What I'm trying to say is that by letting go of Werner and Ziyech, it's not like we don't have players ready to take their spots. We do. Next up, Azpilicueta and Alonso. Look, these two particular players have already got contracts ready with Barcelona. Let's not try and play hardball with Barcelona. We're getting bullied by them this transfer window. Let's hear what they have to give and let's try and compromise, come to a middle ground and offload those players. I know Barcelona has done a dirty on us throughout this transfer window. They got Christensen on a free, but that's not their fault. Our fault for not being able to renegotiate anything for Christensen. They beat us to Rafinha. Well, at the end of the day, I'm not even sure whether they beat us to Rafinha. I think Rafinha wanted them all along. Osman Dembele, I really thought we were going to get him. Two players that I really thought was going to happen for us is Osman Dembele and Kounde. And they're the both players that look like they're going to go to Barcelona. With Jules Kounde, I'll give you guys the update. But look, I'm not confident. So look, understand what Barcelona wants, because Azpilicueta and Alonso wants to leave. So let's not hold them here any longer. Really not hold them any longer. They've apparently got long-term contracts with Barcelona offered. Let's move them on. The reason why I'm pushing for this is the quicker these four at least gets going, you're going to have a healthy environment in the sense that you're going to have players that possibly want to stay at Chelsea Football Club. You're not going to harness a lot of players that want to leave, because that doesn't create a good environment. These players talk to other players, which then creates a toxic situation. And I'm not saying Azpilicueta is doing that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Alonso is doing that. I'm not saying Ziyech is doing that. I'm not saying Werner is doing that. But having those players that want to leave, I'm sure they talk amongst each other, talking about leaving, talking about not. And they, I suppose in their mind, they wouldn't feel 100% about Chelsea at the moment, because the future is up in the air. Put yourself in that scenario. You're thinking about leaving a particular place. Straight away, your heart's probably not going to be there. So we need to move these brothers on. And down the line, we need to also look into players like Barkley, Malangsa, Batshuayi. We have to sit down and work out what we need to do to get rid of players. Very important. Thomas Tuchel walks into an office with a set of players that actually want to be at Chelsea Football Club, number one. Now, let's talk about number two. Who could we possibly bring in now? Jules Kounde scenario, look, this is the other factor that we've had an issue in this transfer window. We've wasted a lot of time with players that doesn't seem like are too convinced to come to us. We need to move away from them. If Jules Kounde is not happening, let's look at Milan Skriniar. If the right-sided CB is what you're targeting for, let's look at Milan Skriniar. Now, you're going to have to start paying overs in some of these players because we have lost a little bit of firepower in this transfer window. Inter Milan ain't going to be easy. We know how difficult they are to negotiate, but we also know that they love money. They need to balance their books and they need to get rid of Milan Skriniar. I don't know what PSG's situation is. They're probably keeping Kimpembe. One or the other. I don't really know whether we need a right side. If we need a right-sided player, I don't know why we're going for Kimpembe. Now, if we need a left-sided player, then go for Kimpembe. It's got to be one or the other, right? And if it is Kimpembe, maybe you're looking at using someone like Koulibaly as an RCB. And that's fine if that's the case. Do you know what I mean? And Chalobah can still learn and develop. Let's not forget. I know he didn't have a good game yesterday, but it is his second season in the Premier League. He is still developing. So if you want to use Koulibaly on the right side, which Koulibaly has been able to do in international level, although his preferred side is probably the left side, but that's one thing. But if you definitely want right-sided player, start looking at Milan Skriniar. He will probably be a better option than Kounde, if I'm being honest. As much as I want Kounde, but Skriniar is a top-notch quality player. So look at Milan Skriniar. You're going to have to play overs probably. Now, up front, I was thinking about some Premier League players. If we seriously feel that, look, and Thomas Tuchel said, what changes, how can we expect changes up front in terms of more goals when it's the same players? I completely get that. There's a lot of things Thomas Tuchel said in the press conference yesterday, post that smashing that we got from Arsenal, that really hit hard. One, players that don't want to be here. Two, we're the same players. So how can we expect more goals? Now, I've just thought of a couple of players. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm pretty sure you guys will have more options as well. It seems like Chelsea Football Club's fancying Premier League stars, right? One player that we could possibly go up front who has the ability to press, work rate, and whatnot. We've seen that team do that level of work rate is Ivan Toney. Now, I know Ivan Toney isn't a Chelsea type of a name that we should be going for, but I think he's effective. For Brentford, him with Mbeumo and all the other players that they have, they work really hard to press. So you know you're going to get work rate from Ivan Toney, and his finishing is not bad. So that's one player you can consider. In the wings, you could probably start considering someone like Wilfried Zaha. Wilfried Zaha is another one that works hard. Now, from Crystal Palace, a lot of people will say Olise. Olise is also a very good player. He's probably one for the future. I don't mind getting Olise, but Olise, what I'm worried about is the age. Do we want to include another youngster within all of these young players that we have? Zaha is 29. I know he's probably in the wrong side of the age, but he's an experienced player, man. He's an experienced player who's not shy to take his man on. He's going to be a nuisance up front for most teams. He's got that grit. He's got that bite. Zaha is someone that we can aim for. Olise as well. So these are a couple of players. Let's get on straight away because we need to give those teams an option. Another player that we could think of is Ruben Neves from Wolves. We need to revamp and we need a DM that's really going to be able to change our game and allow the eights to really explode. Let's think about Ruben Neves. So it's very important we get the director of football ASAP. Whether we get him in this transfer window and what damage that they can do in this transfer window is probably not enough, but we need that director of football ASAP for future windows because Thomas Tuchel at the end of the day shouldn't have to do all this. He really shouldn't. He is not the one who needs to go out there and search the market. He's the one who lets the director of football know what type of players he wants, and then from there on, you do the business. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the solutions that I'm looking at. We have to get rid of players, and we need to start looking at other players. Maybe, I don't know whether we give them a long-term contract, but maybe 3 contracts if you're not fancying some of these names like Zaha or Ruben Neves or Ivan Toney, who are not bad players in the Premier League. But right now, we need bodies in. We can't move into the Premier League season with what we have because we're not competitive. We're simply not. And this is the other thing that Thomas Tuchel said post-match. We're not competitive. We are going to get battered. So let's get some bodies in. We've got in Sterling. We've got in Koulibaly. Hopefully we can get another strong defender. And then the likes of Tooney, Zaha, because I can't see any other names that we're linked with. I would love Leroy Sané, but I don't know if Leroy Sané is up in the markets. I'm not even sure whether I know Tooney is someone Man United's going for, so he could possibly be in the market. He could possibly be someone we can lure off from Brentford. Crystal Palace as well. We can probably lure Zaha or Lise off from them as well. And they'll be keen to join us. We have to understand there's a lot of players that don't fancy joining Chelsea Football Club at the moment as well, which is something that we need to change. We need to change that image ASAP. So look, ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you feel about this. This is what I wanted to share with you guys in terms of some of the solutions that I'm looking at, but I want to see how you feel. Now, some quick updates in regards to Jules Kounde. I don't want to spend too much time on Jules Kounde because I'm absolutely over this situation. He's going to be a Barcelona player. In my mind, he's already a Barcelona player, but there's still apparently some hope. This is from Matt Law. Chelsea's still working on Kounde. Not done, but not over yet either. Not done, but not over. Look, it's done, mate. The longer it continues, the longer this situation prolongs, the better Barcelona's situation gets. That's how I look at it. Monchi is a tough negotiator, and Barca aren't helping the situation either. This is from Ben Jacobs. This is quite interesting. One key point being overlooked in the whole Jules Kounde saga is Bordeaux. They take 20% from the sale. That's why Monchi still prefers Chelsea bid. Chelsea have further talks today on formalities around their offer. Barcelona yet to table anything official as of Sunday morning. Sevilla continue to deny anything has been agreed with Barca formally or verbally, but Barca are in the race largely due to Xavi. They need to offload to register and ultimately agree a fee with Sevilla. Barca reliant on both Sevilla and Kounde patience. Look, I'm not going to sit here and speculate about Barca. At the end of the day, they somehow get everything done. They somehow find the money. They somehow register the players. So I'm not going to sit here and think, oh, how's Barca doing all this? They do it. That's the bottom line. CFC, on the other hand, exerting pressure. They want things resolved by early next week, one way or the other. Having thought deal was done 48 hours ago, Chelsea haven't given up at all. Lots of noise from Spain because they feel Kounde wants Barca, but Barca must move to satisfy Sevilla. Fair enough. This is from Simon Phillips. Levi Colwill ideally wants to remain at Chelsea and he is not trying to force a permanent exit. Armando Broja is being a bit more bullish. More talks with the clubs will be held once Chelsea return from America. Look, if I'm Thomas Tuchel, I'm keeping Levi Colwill and I'm keeping Armando Broja because right now we have to get rid of a lot of players and I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to bring in replacements for everyone. Not that we need replacement for every single one of the players, but we're not going to find replacement as well. So Levi Colwill and Armando Broja, they're going to get minutes and we have to utilize them. And it's good for the development as well. So look, I wouldn't get rid of them. I would try my level best to convince them and I would keep them because we need everyone next season. We need everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you feel about everything that we've talked about. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed it. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. We are now running hot towards 15,000. So let's get there. We shall see you guys for a live, hopefully sometime tomorrow. Until next time, see ya.